All right, welcome to episode 2 of Spa Marketing School. This is a new series brought to you by Addo Aesthetics, and we are sharing bite-sized bits of information to help make you more profitable in your spa in 15 minutes or less. Today, I am joined by Sara. She's one of our coaches here at Addo Aesthetics. Welcome, Sara. I'm so excited to have you here.
So excited to be here.
So you are really retail is the name of your game. You love retail. You've done that in your spa. You've excelled at it for years. Whether it's, selling different product lines or selling private label, which you have your own private label line as well. One of the things, and I think we saw this in COVID, retail is the thing that keeps that steady stream of income. Retail is the thing that keeps our businesses afloat when we have these kind of ups and downs with services. It's that steady stream, because as much as we would love to have our patients or clients coming in every single month, that's not always the case. People have busy lives, people are traveling, people get pregnant or nursing, or people have changes in their financial situation. But retail is the thing that we can hold true through to keep some consistency in our business.
Absolutely. And keep goals for our clients too, no matter what comes up in life.
So we did a podcast episode. It is episode 404. I will post the link right up here while we're talking about this. But we did this a little while ago, and it was five ways to sell more retail in your business this month. And one of those 5 ways that we had talked about was called the Restock Reach Out. And we had a lot of interest in, what is this Restock Reach Out? How can I do this? How can I implement this in my practice? And so I wanted to bring you onto this episode to kind of go over in more detail the step-by-step of what providers can be doing to actually implement this strategy in their practice. So let's go ahead and dive into that. Tell me, step 1 of the Restock Reach Out. What are we doing here?
Well, step 1 to be able to reach out is to find out how they want to be communicated with. So really, it's just understanding and asking them whether this is at their visit in the intake form. Do they like to communicate via phone? Some people like to talk on the phone to catch up. Some people prefer email because it's much easier for them, depending on the type of style work. They're much faster with email. And some people more commonly today like to be reached out via text. So it's really understanding how to communicate with your clients as your first step, because that's how we're going to reach out.
And I love that, we kind of grew up with, or at least in my household, is treat others how you want to be treated.
Absolutely.
And what I'm learning more as an adult in kind of my generation is treat others how they want to be treated.
Meet them halfway.
Yeah. And just because we want to talk on a phone or we want to text, or it's easier for us to email, as providers, as business owners, we need to look at, how does this client or patient want to be communicated with? And when we do that, I think we have the highest likelihood to be able to actually get in contact with them.
And get a response from them, and just really be able to nurture that relationship, because I feel that that's what's the most important in this industry, is it's such a relationship building aspect.
Yes, 100%. Okay, so we're first understanding how they want to be communicated with. What are we doing next?
So then we would just need to understand our replenishment timelines for products. So every product has a different timeline. So cleansers, you may go through a little bit, it takes longer, might be 8 to 12 weeks potentially, but maybe somebody for a serum or a moisturizer, every single product has a different timeline for replenishment. So really making sure that you're creating some form of a spreadsheet with all of the products that you have, and knowing what that life cycle is of that product would be the next step.
Okay, so what I'm visualizing is a spreadsheet you can have on your desktop. You could even have this printed out as a something that would be in a binder, easy for someone at the front desk or the providers to be able to see. You could have both options. It's again, treating others how they want to be treated, understand how your staff communicates best. But it would be like 4 weeks, and then the SKUs that would run out after 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and the SKUs that would run out after 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and so on. And it'll also depend on that particular patient. Yeah, because if you have someone that's doing face, neck, and décolleté, it's obviously going to be different than if they are, just doing their face. And there's people that are heavy-handed, or
I was
people
just
that
going to say, some people are heavy-handed, and some people also live with other people and they might be using it too. So it could also depend on
Yes,
that.
shout out to the husbands. I know my husband's always he's like, "Oh, what's this?"
This, or sisters that come to visit or anything like that,
Yep.
or your friends over. Yeah, and also making sure that you're actually asking your client when they come in, if they're coming in on a monthly basis, that's where you can really personalize and deepen the relationship. You know your clients best over time, and you could just keep a mark in their profile to see like how long they typically go through their products and then fine tune it.
I love that. Okay, so we understand how they want to be communicated with. We understand the timelines of the product. So how are we tying this together? What is the step 3 of making sure that this process gets done?
So really making sure at the checkout process, that's when you're going to be making a note for yourself, for your client, for when they're going to be running out. This should be part of the consultation process when you're starting all the way to the end, checking in where their products are. How much do you have left, or understanding what their needs are. If it does seem like they're going to be running out of product within the next month, you're just going to make a note on there, because not every client comes monthly. Let's say they're a client that comes on a quarterly basis or so, that's when you're going to be reaching out to them. So making a note for yourself, but also for your client in their profile, to understand at that checkout process when you're going to be making the initiative to reach out, to really bring it full circle.
So when I was using this method, it didn't have as cool of a name, and it wasn't as detailed with the SKU lines. I was kind of manually doing this, and it seems like you've kind of taken it to that next level. But I would simply, at the end of my day, after I saw my patients, I would go through my product sales, and I would then mark out 5 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, whatever that timeline is, to be able. It was just like a 5-minute check-in.
Mm-hmm.
And I had either a draft or because I was mostly emailing. My patients almost always wanted email. And it would just be a reminder. And we did put in the wherever you're watching this, if you're watching this on LinkedIn, or if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, in the description of this post, we've got a script that you can copy and paste. Make it your own, add your voice, your brand, but it's a really simple, straightforward message that you can send out to say, hey, just thinking of you. I know that you're probably out of your CE Ferulic. I can send it to you, or I can have it ready. Like if that person has an appointment on the books, I'll set some aside so that for you to get when you come in at your appointment on such and such date. Or if you want me to ship it to you, I can have it there, in X amount of days, no charge for shipping. So you're anticipating their needs before they have them. And when we're competing with the Amazons of the world, I mean, that's it, people pay for convenience, right?
They
So
do. And two, that's where you could even deepen it further. And if you have an e-com store, you can put a link for them to purchase online. And then if you do want to offer free shipping, have a code or something for them, but making it as simplistic and as nurturing as possible for that relationship, so that they want to consistently buy from you.
So this can be done on Google Calendar. This can be done on Monday.com. This is whatever project management software you're using. We love Monday.com, but there's Asana, there's Trello, there's ClickUp. There's a whole bunch of different ones. However you're keeping track of your to-dos, having a system around this, getting it out of your head. You don't want it just on your head. And I actually prefer, I think if you're a solo, it's fine to have it on your calendar. If you have a team, you need to have it on a project management software, because what if one provider leaves, or what if a provider is on vacation or something like that? We're not going to be able to see those patients that need to be followed up with.
Absolutely. And this can be something that should be, because of how many clients, depending on that you have, this can be done on a week. You can make sure that it's every Monday or Tuesday that you reach out on a weekly basis, and that you're even checking in too. So having those on a project board would be fantastic.
So step 4, step 4 is send the script.
Send
Send
it.
the script. So understand how your patients want to be communicated with, step 1. Step 2, have a spreadsheet or some type of resource to be able to understand replenishment timelines. And I would always go with what the most recent one is. If someone's buying an entire home care regimen, the likelihood, a lot of people, even if they're not coming in every month, they're likely coming in quarterly. I see a lot of like seasonality, coming in at the change of the seasons, and you can replenish their products at that point. We don't want to be intrusive where we're like, oh, you must be out of your CEU for like, oh, you must be out of your dermal repair. Oh, you must be out of your whatever. It's like,
Be mindful. Just be
yes,
mindful of how much you're reaching out, and making sure that it doesn't seem like you're supposed to be of help, not a bother.
right. Taking a to-do off of their list, making sure that they don't go and they're going to do this self-care night and get into the bath and then realize that they are completely out of their product. We want to eliminate those things before they happen. So let's briefly touch on, is this something that you're having the front desk do? If you have a virtual assistant, are you incorporating them in any way on this, as far as maybe like putting the tasks on the Monday board with the timeline? How have you done this in your practice, in your spa? Because I know that you have other providers in addition to yourself. So is each person responsible? Is there one person that owns this? How does it work?
I think it's best if you're a solo that you're obviously doing all of it, but I would highly suggest having the front desk, whoever is the face that's communicating the customer service, doing it. And for the virtual assistants, they can put that onto the project management boards, but really, unless it's email, I do think whoever is nurturing the relationships and is the face, that's who should be doing it. So I would suggest front desk first if you have it. If you do have providers, I would just make sure when it's via text that it's not their personal phone. Like, you need to have some boundaries as well. So you have to understand what that is, but I would definitely task it as a solo yourself. And if you can, to a front desk or a virtual assistant, just so that you have a good customer journey in case in the event somebody leaves, they go on maternity leave, something comes up, it's always that one person.
Yeah, I think in general, it's just a great practice to always use the spa's communication channels. So
Mhm.
we don't want to be passing out our personal numbers. We want to have boundaries around that. There's compliance issues, there's privacy issues, there's a lot of stuff that could go wrong with that. So keep the channels of communication clear.
Yes.
And let's just wrap this up with a bit of advice for someone who may feel that they're being intrusive, or that they don't want to reach out, or how do you get over those objections or those fears for yourself and for your team? Because we know, I mean, you've seen in your practice how much this improves and keeps that relationship going. I know that when I was practicing, it was something that I did and really helped me to earn a lot of retail revenue, the commissions that you get on retail. So it's something that works. It's something that, when done correctly, feels like a support. But I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, I just don't want to bother them.
I would just keep in mind that if you take yourself back to being in the treatment room as a service provider, we enjoy our clients, we enjoy the relationship, and we are always of being of service because we're in the service industry. You are benefiting them, you are helping them. So I understand where they're coming from, thinking that they're a bother. But if we really just bring it back to understanding that we are helping them and supporting them get to their skincare goals, and we're helping them get further and making it easier and taking one thing off of their plate, just be reminding yourself you're being of service and you're nurturing your client relationship. You are not bothering them.
Oh, I love that. All right. So go out there, try the Restock Reach Out, be of service to your clients, and I hope that this strategy helps you. We'll see you next week.
Bye.